Hi, I'm Mark, this is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the Philips 27B1U7903 27-inch monitor. Now right at the start of this video, I want to be honest with you guys and tell you that I have been sent this monitor to review, which means I don't own it and I've got to send it back at the end of this review. I also want to be completely transparent and tell you that I am not being paid for this review. I've just had this opportunity to try out this monitor, create a review and see what I think of it. And this is great because it means I get to try out a new monitor and bring you guys my thoughts and hopefully help you decide if it's the right monitor for you, but I don't have to say nice things about it, so this is going to be my honest opinion. Now, I've been using this monitor for around 10 days now, and I've been using it on average for about 7 hours a day. And really, this monitor is geared towards people like myself who work from home and want a good quality monitor to work from every day. At 27 inches, this monitor has plenty of screen space packed in. This is great if you need to have multiple windows open at once, especially for things like web development or cross-referencing documents, or even things like video editing and music production. And as always with my reviews, I want to start off by talking about price, and this is not a cheap monitor. This monitor costs around £1,000. What I do think, however, given the features that this monitor has and the quality of it, actually this price is probably about right. And let's start off the main part of the review and talk about design. So the front of this monitor has slightly rounded edges and pretty slim bezels. These bezels are equal around the entire edges of the monitor. The base of the monitor simply has an indicator light on it, and this is because those buttons that you need to control your settings are on the back of the monitor. This monitor is VESA compatible, which is great if you already have a desk mount or a wall mount for your monitor, but it does come with a high quality metal stand. This stand feels incredibly well made and is also adjustable. One thing I noticed, and one thing you will notice from this video, is that this isn't the thinnest monitor in the world. However, that thickness does help make it feel like a good quality monitor, but it also has plenty of extra features built in, which I'll talk about throughout this video. And so let's continue and talk about spec. So this monitor lets you connect using a variety of different methods. This is great if, like me, maybe you've got a Mac you use for work, but also a personal computer that you want to attach at the same time. You can connect via 2 HDMI ports and 1 DisplayPort. Alongside that, you can also connect via Thunderbolt 4. It also has a Thunderbolt 4 output for attaching to another monitor. This allows you to daisy chain multiple monitors together. This output from this monitor supports up to 4K, which is great if you want to have 2 4K displays going on. It also has a built-in dock. This built-in dock gives you a 1 gigabit Ethernet connection and 4 USB ports. One of these USB ports also supports fast charge. This is great for having extra connectivity, although it's a shame some of these USB ports aren't USB-C. The Thunderbolt 4, however, does mean you can get really fast connectivity from these ports. Then finally, there is a 3.5mm audio out jack, which is great if you want to connect to headphones or external speakers, and it also has 2 3-watt speakers built in. Then in terms of the display itself, this is a 4K Ultra HD monitor. This supports resolutions up to 3840 by 2160, and this is backlit by mini LEDs. The monitor has built-in anti-glare and haze of up to 25%. What this means in practice is that even when the sun has been shining through my blinds to my left, I can still see and use this monitor really comfortably. If you like some of the more in-depth stats, then it has 163 pixels per inch. It also has a 4 millisecond response time. In terms of contrast ratio, it supports 1300 to 1. And then if you like refresh rate, it has a 60 Hz refresh rate. Now this refresh rate is lower than other refresh rates on monitors that I've used, including my daily AOC monitor. The thing is, however, for me, editing videos, producing music, web development, I actually can't notice a difference. This monitor is just very, very smooth to use. And there are lots of other stats I could talk about with this monitor. However, if you really want to get into the in-depth stats, I have linked them below. The really important thing with monitors, however, is kind of how comfortable they are and how good they are to use on a daily basis. And of course, the key stats like resolution and anti-glare impact that. However, my opinion on what it's like to use is going to be far more useful than all the stats. So let's talk about what it's like to use on an everyday basis. So as I said at the start, I've been using this for around 10 days with an average of 7 hours usage per day, and I have been really impressed with this monitor. Now I've used it in the most part for my day job as a web developer, but then I also used it at evenings and weekends for my personal projects, but also things like music production and video editing. So this video you're watching right now was edited on this monitor. And really, this monitor pretty much ticks every single box I want from a monitor. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, my desk is right next to a window, and even on sunnier days, the anti-glare kicks in and I can still comfortably use this monitor. It also has plenty of brightness. I also like the high resolution support because it means I can cram more onto my screen. In using this for a whole variety of tasks, I've found that the screen feels really responsive to use and everything is just very smooth. One of the things I really like from an aesthetic point of view is that the bezels are equal all the way around it. And this, I think, is part of the reason the monitor is slightly thicker, because they haven't crammed a load of stuff at the bottom. Interestingly, they haven't even included a Philips logo at the bottom. That stand feels really well made, and it's also adjustable, which is great for making sure the monitor is in a comfortable position for you. When it comes to adjusting various settings, this is done via the physical buttons on the monitor. And these are found on the back of the monitor, and this does take a little bit of getting used to. And the main way of doing this is you find where the power button is, which is directly behind the LED on the front of the monitor. If you tap the button immediately to the left of that, you'll then get a little visual display on the screen that shows you which buttons are where. This display updates depending which menu you're in, and actually it becomes quite easy to get used to. And as I've said in previous reviews, I think the Philips setting menus are some of the best ones on any monitor I've used. And this little kind of adjustable display in the bottom right that shows you what the buttons do is actually a really well thought out way of doing this. And there are loads of different settings and display properties and things you can get into with these settings, but one of the things I think is most important is that it does support an anti-blue light mode. This is great for using it for long periods of time and keeping your eyes comfortable. And this monitor has just been really comfortable to use. And there's two other features I should talk about when it comes to using this monitor. Firstly, we should talk about those built-in speakers. Now, those built-in speakers are fine for hearing kind of notifications and also hearing what people are saying on voice controls, but they're probably not what you're going to be listening to music on most of the time. They are fine in terms of volume for background music, but the quality kind of lacks a little bit of bass in my opinion. They can get reasonably loud, which is great, especially given they're only 2-3 watt speakers. However, if like me, you listen to music all the time, you're probably going to still want a little speaker in your office rather than using the built-in speakers. That's worth noting, however, I don't think these speakers were really designed for people to listen to music on. Secondly, we should talk about that built-in dock. Now, that built-in dock is great if you've got things you want plugged into your computer without having to kind of faff around moving cables behind your desk. This is great for permanently having something like an external hard drive or something like a phone charger on your desk. Now, I'd certainly say this is better for devices you want to keep plugged in, just because reaching behind the monitor can be a little bit awkward. It is, however, much better to have them there than have loads of trading cables behind your desk. The one thing I would say is that it is a shame there are not more USB-C ports, and actually I think in 2023 a mix between kind of USB-C and traditional USB would have been better, probably 50-50. So all in all, what is the verdict on the Philips 27B1U7903 27-inch monitor? If you're looking for an everyday work monitor that is really responsive and gives you plenty of screen space alongside being bright enough and having lots of anti-glare, then this is a really good monitor to consider. It's really comfortable and smooth to use, and also has some nice extras like built-in speakers and that USB dock. That 27-inch screen is certainly big enough if you need to have lots of windows open, and I've found in using it for about 10 days it is really comfortable to use. The ability to daisy chain an extra monitor on if you need extra space is also a really nice option to have. This will certainly be useful if you're someone like a video editor or maybe you work in a music studio and you want two big displays side by side. The main downside, in my opinion, is just that distribution of ports on the monitor itself, and I think they should have had a mix of USB and USB-C. I also think that price point might put some people off because it is quite a big investment for a monitor. However, when it is something you're going to be using it every day, maybe that is worth spending the money on. If you guys have got any questions, do stick them below and I will answer them for you. If you do want to pick one up, I have put a link below. That is an affiliate link, so if you purchase through that link, I will get a very small cut of what you spend, and that just helps me keep making videos for you guys because this isn't my full-time job. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel because that really does help me out. I will see you guys again soon.